Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another Spy Family. This is episode 11. I believe it's called Stella. I'm here with
Yes,
Lucas. What's going on, man?
everything is elegant. That will always stick in my head with this show, no matter what happens.
Yeah, he actually makes an appearance in this episode again because this is an Anya-driven episode, which we'll go over. It's
Yes.
not that long. It kind of felt like two
Nah.
episodes in one, though. It was really weird to say that,
The
but
the the split that happens in between. Granted, both of them are related to the title Stella,
mhm.
so both of them do serve the exact same purpose, but tonally, it feels like two different episodes at
It,
times.
it really does. But yeah, in the beginning of the episode, um, Anya's coming back with these grades. She's
Hmm.
failing. She just really wants to look at her TV. She doesn't want to study. She's fighting. It's kind of like you got the rebellious child situation, and
Just,
it's
just like
funny,
every kid, every
right?
parent who had a kid who got to sit and study. If you think like they like, oh my god, I just can't wait to study.
Uh,
No kid says that.
Yeah, I like how he handled it though, because he won't like looking at her like putting pressure, like because honestly, looking at all those grades is failing. It's like, dang, did you try? But he didn't say anything. He kind of kept being very persistent and trying to encourage her. But one thing that Laura did, which is interesting, she found some kind of positive. She was like, "Oh, this math is pretty good. Good job with the math." Which is interesting. Just their family dynamics, are very
Mhm.
fascinating because it was even with like him trying to give her extracurricular activities, she just was not she was not getting it. Um but yeah, I thought it was actually really fascinating that she just couldn't find something of her own, even when he was like, all right, let's go and do community service. um
She was horrible. She's absolutely. Again, this is just because I don't think he thought that she would pick up in studying to get one of these awards, and then he's like, "Okay, let's go on a mission." Kind of, what are you good at? That this
Basically.
whole episode is attempting to find what Anya's good at, and the whole time Anya has a secret that she could use, and it comes to the forefront this episode for the very first time. I think that she's used her powers for good,
Yeah,
which is
not
a different type of confidence boost for her.
right. I think the last time she did something similar was when the old lady got her purse stolen
Yep.
and she pointed out the person, but this required her to actually take action physically. Um i i ain't gonna lie, man, like the way that they set that up. I saw the little boy. He was on crutches. He needed to go to
Hmm.
rehab, and he had his and it could happen. And I think Lloyd brought it up, like, most of the time how children in this situation happens, like nobody's looking. And sure enough, he was kind of putting his hand in the water. He just happened to slip and fall. Nobody heard him. And this boy is just drowning. And she was faced with a serious situation. Like, she was like, she hears him, but she not only has to find him, she has to figure out how to get to him without it looking like she knows
What's
everything
going
with
on
her powers.
already, which is the
Right.
key part, is still her trying to hide her powers,
Right.
and then her deciding, I want to go swimming. Let's go this way. Again, it was a kid's response of her attempting to save someone.
Right.
And it's kind of dope the way they had it as a faint voice as she can hear him,
Hmm.
even down to when she was looking for him when she got to the pool and she's looking around like, all right, so where is he at? Where is he at?
Right.
And she heard the voice and then saw the bubbles. And
Right.
that's what made her dive in to attempt to save him.
Yeah, she legit just dove right. That was a dope shot too. It kind of was like,
Hmm.
I was sitting there thinking, oh, Laura's gonna catch her beforehand. She's got to come up with something. Like, no, she just instinctively just went in. Do you think that that is a part of who she is, or is it that Lloyd has rubbed off on her wanting to be a hero, quote unquote, or is it just who she is? I was curious your perspective.
I'm saying that's who she is because if you look at it, before Lloyd, what was her favorite show?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
involves a hero. Like, again, but I think that's for every kid. Every kid loves the idea of being a hero. If
yeah.
not, we wouldn't have like the comic book stuff that we have going on in the world today.
True.
Or even the anime things that goes on where it's always a centralized hero for most of the time. And that's what she wants to be. So this was her moment. But she also just wanted to save the boy. You could tell just by the panic on her face when she said he was drowning. And Lloyd looked at her like, how would you know that?
Right.
And she was just panicked, like, I got to come up with something because I got to save this. I got to save them. Like, I can't let them die.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's just the caring nature of kids in general, but definitely of Anya, that in the end, she's always showed and displayed how much she cares for other people.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll talk about the second half of this episode and kind of how that plays in with Desmond. But I think there was something also about how when she saved she attempted to save the kid.
Yeah,
she almost
she
drowned
attempted.
herself.
Yes, she did.
And Lloyd jumped in instinctively to grab her, and he saw the little boy.
I love the shot for us to realize the water that she dove in wasn't that deep because Lloyd stood up with both of them in his hand, and the water barely came to his waist. I think that was a great way to do that shot, because I'm like, wait a minute, like how deep is she swimming down? Because it's a kid, and the shot makes it look amazing, and it makes it look like summertime rendering when they dive in the water.
It definitely did.
But then when he stands up with both of them in his arms, you're like, oh, they're like in 5 feet, maybe 4.
And I mean, kids can. I mean, honestly, kids can get drowned in a situation, and he breaks it down to him. He's like,
hey, he said it perfectly, and it's 1,000% true. Kids don't really make noise when they drown. Like you think of splashing around and all that. That's adults. Kids don't do that.
Right. Like they're already down to the bottom and not even know how they got there. But I loved how once he got them both out, I feel like the little boy's response is what a little kid would respond like. It wouldn't be like, "Oh, thank you." Like it'd be like tears. Like he thought he was legit gonna die. He was scared. And that's one thing about this show is that I feel like all the kids play off of different aspects of actual how children react to stuff.
Yeah.
And I love that about the show because it kind of, as a dad, it kind of like made me emotional because I was like, dang, this little kid is just happy to be alive. Like he probably was like, he's just thankful to be alive. And I think the response of it made me kind of feel emotional. And as much as I was happy for Anya, I was more excited and happy that she saved him and that Lloyd was able to save him in turn. But now,
I'm about to say that's different levels of being around children. The part that I found hilarious, and I've seen it in person in school, is when the kids think that you're just above yourself, and boy, do they do everything in the world to attempt to tear you back down. Like, oh, she's just gonna wear that here. No one wears that here. None of them have ever had one before. So none of them know how this goes. It's kids that transition happens very quickly. Not only that, I mean, when you get to your children and they get to the age of that first year's school, and when you first see them get an award of any form, it is legit like the world is mine. Like they might as well be on stage accepting an Oscar and telling everybody how God helped, how I want to thank my family. Like when you get to those experiences with kids and you see that, and you see the face, and I think Lloyd pointed out just how proud they look. Like they at that point when she said, call me Starlight Anna from now on. Like, yes, that's a natural reaction from kids, because they're like, oh, I am the shit now.
Basically,
everybody here must acknowledge me for every greatness that I am. That was some of the best parts of this episode, is between that and her daydreaming how now that she won this, how things would work, and everything equal to world peace.
Right.
Because of this one incident with her. Like it's hilarious because they portray Anna the way they should as a kid. This is a kid's mind. These are the way kids think. They think no matter how big a problem is, it's a very simple solution to it.
Right.
And her thing is, I want Stella. He's gonna like me. And world peace. Like it's very simple.
All right. Like it's awesome how they have her be kind of like the narrator, quote unquote, every time she's reading people's minds, and at the same time she's the comic relief. but then she's also very believable, which adds on to every other character she interacts with. To the point, like you said, she was out there stunting. She was like, "Oh, this is a cakewalk." And all of a sudden, everybody's talking trash about her. She's like, "Oh, wait, what?" it was hilarious. But that's the way that kids would react. Now, this was interesting though, because that like people try to get Desmond to say, "Oh, well, she faked it. She did this." She's like, "Nah, she didn't fake it." And he's like, in his head, he was like, "That's the reason why I'm mad at her, because she didn't fake it, because she actually won up over me." So it's fascinating that where he could tear her down, he can't at the same time. Because I think he does respect her, but he also likes her. He don't know what to
I'm
do
about
with
to say
that
he has
emotion
the
either.
biggest crush in the world on her.
He don't know
Now,
what to do
was
with
it
that
the
emotion.
girl or his friends was like, "Oh, he's so manly at times like this"? I said, wait, what?
I think it was his friends. It was his friends. I was just like,
Oh
whatever, bro.
man,
These kids, man. These kids in the show are actually adorable. But yeah, so the transition to, what is the girl's name? Becky? Is her name Becky? I can't remember
that's
what her name.
Starlight's
Her best
not
friend.
partner. Oh, you talking
Whatever.
about, okay, the girl, the
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah. So Becky was like, "Look, you need to pull, She's like, "What are you talking about? Look, you got this Stella Award, get something else." She's like, "What? I'm getting peanuts. I can get peanuts for a year." She's like, "Is that really all you want?" And so she talked her
Well, first
into
she asked for
getting.
first she asked for a castle.
Oh, she did. She did. I don't know why she asked for a
First she
castle, but
said, remember, when they did the big, I assume
oh, right,
because
that's
when they
right.
did the big production for her, it was at a castle. So the first thing she said is a castle. She said, "I think that's too much. Peanuts for a year."
It's like, I don't want much, man. I'm humble, But the little girl was like, you should ask for a puppy, because I got a puppy. And so Anya's head goes, "Okay, I'm gonna get a puppy. He's got a dog." Because she asked him, she's like, "Do you have a dog?" He was like, "What you asking me that for? Shut up. Don't stop talking to me." So her head still went like, "Okay, he's got a puppy. He's gonna like my puppy. We're gonna become friends. World peace."
Yep.
And so now her head goes, "All right, I need to have this conversation with my family." And just like any other kid, they think that their idea makes sense to them. And so yours
man.
like, and this is the first time I heard your legit kind of be like, "I don't know about this." And she was like, "It's a big responsibility." And in the back of the head of Lloyd was like, maybe I can make this work to my advantage. But Yor was like, "I don't know, bro. I don't know."
See, I'll just put it like this. Your boys have not gotten to the age of the dog conversation. That, as a parent, is one of the worst conversations to have, because what I don't want is to get you a dog and I'm walking the dog every goddamn day. I'm doing everything for the dog every day.
Right.
No, 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 no. So it was, yours response was the perfect response for a parent.
Yeah.
Like, this is a living thing. It's a lot of responsibility. You don't even want to do your schoolwork.
Right.
What happens when we have to force you to take the dog out, walk the dog, love the dog, play with the dog? Like, I loved her response because it literally showed her becoming more and more of Anya's mother.
Yep.
And not just "Oh, Miss Anya, you can have anything you want." The typical
bro.
response we were getting from Yor. Here we seeing, especially after everything that happened last episode, the last couple episodes with her brother and everything, I think we're now seeing a transition of her like stepping up, like, and saying that. I thought that was an awesome moment to have for her to be like, "I don't know about this. This may not be a good idea for you to get a dog."
Right. I can't remember what convinced Lloyd to just go along with it. But eventually he was like, "Oh, okay, we'll see." But I don't know, because then they transitioned to this dog pound, and the dog pound, it seemed like these dogs were like being used as bombers. Like they were getting stuff strapped to them and being used as suicide bombers. And then they were showing this one dog that was completely white, and it wasn't barking or anything. But what did they say? It said something like, "Let me get this stupid dog out of here," or something like that. It was reminding me of Anya, so it may be that's the dog they're gonna end up getting. Because Anya was treated the same exact way by the people that are at her orphanage. They just wanted to get rid of her and discard her. So it may work.
the kinship, because if that's the case, you're gonna get a dog. Again, anybody who's gotten a dog from a pound before knows if you ever get a rescue dog, anything of that nature, that dog's gonna love you more than anything else in the world because it's not accustomed to that. So I think that's possibly what they're hinting towards to there, because that led to the end of the episode. But then we got to go back to the train conversation because that's important.
Yeah. Go
Between
for it.
Starlight and I still don't know this mystery woman in the organization.
I don't know her name. I don't know her name either, but she's kind of like her backer, his backer.
We hear up front that they think that Anya can get 8 Stellas in 4 months.
It's crazy.
And then when she gets this 1 Stella of her saying, "Do you think we should plug in operatives?
Yeah, operatives. Yeah.
There we go. This just not sound like the word to use there. Operatives in the field to help Anya get more Stellas quickly." And then he points out, I think that would draw way too much suspicion if we did that. Plus, I don't want to expose any other people. The key part was him asking, is the organization becoming impatient?
Yeah. And she said no, but she said something like Desmond is doing some undercutted things that
and that's
may
the key
be
part.
bad. Maybe bad. So now it's
we're saying that we're saying this may speed up Lloyd's time frame, because if he's doing all these undercover things, I know they don't want that to get out of control. So will that have to speed up Lloyd's movements with Anya and succeeding with the Stellas and his mission as a whole? And then how does that affect the family if his time frame moves up? Because he's clearly developed feelings for everybody.
He is. He even said it in this one. He was like, "I'm proud of her." He kind of was like, "This makes me feel like, we stopped this terrorist ring, but it's different. Like, I'm proud of her." He openly said it. So it's gonna be interesting to see where
the key part is he said that. You think Anya read his mind when he said that?
I don't know, because it didn't.
Because at the same time, she was talking about her powers and how she finally used her powers for good, and then he said that. And how much control does she have over her powers in close proximity to people, where she just, again, we saw when she was around a group of people, she couldn't control her powers.
Right.
So is this something that she actually cannot control? So that means she would hear everything around her. Could that be the reason she's failing? Because at that point, I mean, if you ever seen a group of kids attempt to do anything, it's minds. Their minds are racing everywhere humanly possible, which could stunt her ability to focus.
I definitely think so. It was something in the beginning of the episode when she was like talking about how she was trying to cheat and try to do it this way, and she's like, "This time I'm gonna do it this way." And I think that you're right. I think that so many different people around her are just keeping her unfocused. And I don't know how she's gonna get around that, because I really do think she can really do it, but it's so many things around her that's
she have to focus her powers.
Right. And that's a whole nother
focus on the smartest kid in the class.
Well, who but that's the thing. Who's gonna teach her? Because nobody knows. Like, she's gonna have to literally figure that out herself. And she's gonna have to find somebody to be able to help her eventually. Because this is way too much. I mean, she's doing a good job for what she's doing, but I don't know. Somebody's gonna have to help hone that in some kind of way.
I think she would tell Yor before she told anyone else.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
By the end of the episode, my favorite part of this episode, when Yor says, "I'm gonna cook you a big feast." And Anya slowly moves towards Lloyd and says,
"I want Papa to cook.
Papa, I want you to cook."
Oh, Yor was blown. She was like, "What?" But yeah, it's a good episode. It was cute. I enjoyed it. I got a little emotional with the drowning situation. The animation is always really great in this. I think this is actually a very good looking anime. But yeah. You got anything
close
else?
It down. What, 2 episodes left?
Yeah, for the part 1.
It's 13, right?
Yeah, 13. And then in October, I think, is the back half. So yeah, we're almost at the end of this. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna end on a cliffhanger, most likely.
Yeah.
I don't know what that cliffhanger would be outside of somebody finding out.
At this point, it doesn't even matter. You got me watching an anime that gives me a cliffhanger every god darn week. Like,
oh, you talking about summertime?
It doesn't even matter at this point. Cliffhangers don't even matter anymore.
Look, summertime don't play, y'all. If y'all look, some of the stuff we be coming up with summertime is ridiculous. So check out our summertime.
But for here, it's great. At least we get to see, hopefully moving forward, which dog they pick. If they pick this dog, how that works, and then how does this all fit into Lloyd's plan? I think those are the next steps that we're looking at.
I think it would be interesting if Lloyd was able to train the dog to protect the family. And he said it. He kind of alluded that, having a dog around the house to protect the area would be really good. Even though he don't realize that he's got one of the world's greatest assassins to take care of anything and everything.
And he's been attempting to train a kid for the longest time. And anyone who has dogs and children, the cold hard truth. Bringing a dog into your household is equivalent to having another baby.
Yep.
Everything to the T is equivalent. So I think it's going to be funny when he realizes that, oh my God, I have 2 onions in here. What am I going to do?
Yeah, it's going to be cute though. It's going to be cute. I'm kind of excited to see us have a dog. But hopefully you guys enjoyed our discussion. We'll be back. Definitely going to check out our other reviews. We got one coming up for The Old Man. We got one coming up for The Man That Fell to Earth. And, of course, Summertime Rendering. All right, guys.
There you go.
Peace, people.
Filing out the top of the
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on